We baby boomers are a mess. I mean, look what we've done to the world. In some ways, we've achieved many improvements, but in other ways, we placed our world in great peril. What happened to us? I got to thinking about that. And the only thing I could come up with is that those of us who are of the baby boomer generation are heirs of post-traumatic stress syndrome. Our parents never heard that word, but they certainly lived through it. And I can remember occasionally when my father in unguarded moments would share with me some of the horrible things he had seen in World War II, of friends dying in front of him. What a heavy burden he carried. That gave a little bit of explanation to the anger that he carried as well. Now what that did for us, it gave us a good dose of shame, a lot of us. And that gave rise in the 1980s to the self-help movement. You remember that? We are going to self-medicate with wonderful gurus out there in the world. And one such guru was a guy named John Bradshaw, because he recognized in family systems that patterns would set up that wouldn't always be healthy. And he tried to help individuals to recognize that and to step out of it. And the only way that they could do that was through dealing with shame. And he wrote a book, and that's a classic, called Healing the Shame That Binds. Now I remember, and this is where the gospel comes in, because in the gospel, the thing that struck me and brought me to this meditation is the end, the very last thing that Jesus says to the crowd. You remember it? Unbind him and let him go. Now usually when I preach sermons, I say, look within yourself, yada, 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 stuff like that. But today, that struck me as, it's not just looking within myself, but looking at how I relate with other people. Do I see you and you and you and you and you as a genuine human being with your own unique capabilities and potentials? Or do I see you as a former junior warden? And there's another warden, well, yeah, there's one there. And former vestry members, and oh yeah, you did this and you did that, and okay, there's my expectations for you. And if you step out of that for some reason, I'm going to say, wait, get back. Because what John Bradshaw did in a video, he had a huge mobile. And he walked over and he said, if one person changes, and he grabbed a piece of it and shook it, the whole thing started vibrating. Systems like this, they like equilibrium. And the way you maintain equilibrium is through the status quo. Don't change. Don't change. Don't change. Don't change. So John, in his wisdom, has one last statement after Lazarus rises from the dead. Resurrection is the hardest work you and I will do. Will do. Not at the end time, not at the last days like Mary and Martha thought, but now with Lazarus. It's the hardest work we can do. Resurrection is the hardest work we can allow those within our families, those within our places of business, those within our church family, those who are dear to us. It's the hardest thing we can allow them to do. So when you witness resurrection, either your own or another's, remember the wisdom of this gospel today and the last words that Jesus says in this story. Unbind him. Unbind her. let him, let her go.